Okay. I actually just got done watching episode 1 of Bebop. And now I'm watching it again. And this time I'm taking notes. The reason why I didn't take notes the first time I watched it was because I wasn't going to let me talking over the episode interfere with, you know, my comprehension of it, and this is sort of a review of the episode, and I'm kind of providing commentary on it so that I can take notes on the subject. I'm not going to talk about the first 30 seconds or 1 minute or however long it is, the prologue sequence to the entire series, because frankly it's so pointless. It would just make me angry and would just detract from this video. So instead I'm going to talk about the actual content of the episode. This episode in particular stands out amongst the rest of the series as a episode that shows off the real point of Cowboy Bebop, which is the background aesthetics. The undertones that are told through the imagery. And not just the imagery, but the background imagery. And in some ways that's a good thing, in some ways that's a bad thing. In the sense that it's a good thing, it sets up the right tone for the show, which is the one that it's become so famous for, you know, the deep, thought-provocative aspects of the show make you stop and wonder about what's really going on inside Spike's head, or how the world is being, how this world came to be. The thing is, it's not making me think, because it's plainly telling me what's going on. There's really no subtlety here at all. Everything is overblown. Everything about it is overdone to the point that it's actually kind of obnoxious. This episode also establishes Spike's character. It goes to much greater lengths than most episodes do, and explores his character and his motivations through his lack of speech and through some of his bodily motions a lot more than the rest of the series does. In the rest of the series, he's a pretty generic character. In this episode, he's actually explored somewhat, and most of it is not in what he says, but in how little he says. And that's all well and good. That all sounds like really nice stuff. The problem is, it reinforces every problem I have with his character. The line is that completely defines his character. Okay, I'll get to that when it comes to it. Right now, we're seeing the famous scene that Adult Swim made their first promo based off of for this show. And it is a wonderful scene. It is slow, it's draggy, it's pretentious, but it's still a wonderful sequence. Where Spike is whistling as he comes out of the Bebop in his ship. That's still just, it sticks with you as one of the best things about this show. And I think it really was the first impression. You know, they talk about how first impressions matter. You hear that phrase a lot. And if that's the case, then that certainly explains Bebop's popularity, because they made sure to take a really good sequence, possibly the best sequence in the entire series, and stick it in the first 5 minutes. And unfortunately, that's really all that I have to say about this episode that's actually good. The rest of it is really in your face. To the point of it being obnoxious, even by the standards of the rest of the series. First of all, the background images. The background images are beautifully rendered, of course. Even by this series' standards, the animation for this episode is particularly good. And the way that they set up, the way that this grungy world looks and feels like a fusion of film noir and spaghetti western, sets up that look and that feel and the aesthetic and the style that this show is so well known for, and those are good things. I've always been a proponent of those aspects of the show because that's where the effort went, quite obviously. The thing is, I'm not gonna jump on the fan base bandwagon simply because those things are done well or they exist in the show. You pour enough money and you pour enough talent into any work of fiction, and you're gonna get something like that. If anybody should have walked away with that less, if any story should have been a testament to that, it should have been James Cameron's Avatar. James Cameron's Avatar showed that you can pour all kinds of effort into the background imagery. And you can pour all kinds of effort into the technology, which would be likened unto the artistry for the animation of this series. You could pour all kinds of effort into that, but if the basic story is crap, it's still crap. Okay, now we're at... I kind of lost my train of thought there. I don't even remember what my original thought was. But we're now at the scene that defines Spike's character forever. He's in a tent with a very stereotypical Native American who tells him a very generic Native American stereotype prophecy. Calls him Swimming Bird because that's meant to be deep, which is probably one of the only things about Spike that actually has some real symbolism behind it. And then he mentions that he's already died, and he was killed by a woman. More importantly, the line was that he's already died. He's dead already, by his own admission. That's his entire character in a nutshell, people.